The Council of the Nine Suns convened beneath the massive crystal dome of orbital station Casmer, their representatives casting shadows against the swirling tapestry of stars. Each envoy represented one of the galaxy's great species, their forms as varied as the worlds they hailed from. High Speaker Zonath of the Everii, her iridescent exoskeleton shimmering in the starlight, addressed the assembly with her usual fervor. The Iron Giants, she declared, her voice echoing like chittering blades, remain the greatest threat our galaxy has ever known. They enslaved our people, mined our planets, and left scars upon our worlds that still have not healed. And now we learn that those who created them have returned. The assembly broke into a cacophony of whispers, clicks, hums, and growls. The humans, a relatively recent addition to interstellar society, were not present to defend themselves. The Nine Suns viewed them with equal parts curiosity and trepidation, but the emergence of ancient legends tied to these newcomers had brought fear to the forefront. The humans cannot be trusted, growled Korgoth of the Dramari, his massive, reptilian frame rippling with barely contained aggression. Their machines nearly wiped out my homeworld. We lost 10 generations reclaiming our lands. The hologram in the center of the chamber rotated, displaying an immense humanoid machine, blackened metal plates etched with scars of plasma fire, red eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence. We barely survived, added Wavel of the Tylosi, a floating, jellyfish-like being whose translucent body shimmered with emotion. And now, they return with the audacity to ask for peace. As the debate raged, a distant human vessel, the SS Resolute, moved through the cold vacuum of space. On board, Captain Eliza Carter watched the live broadcast of the Council's deliberations. The hologram of the Iron Giants loomed large in the ship's tactical room, its intimidating form casting a reddish hue over the gathered crew. "Well, this is a fine mess," Eliza muttered, folding her arms. Miles Kwan, her chief engineer, was hunched over a console, scanning through archived data. "You're not going to like this," he said, looking up. "Those Iron Giants the Council's freaking out about? They match the design specs of our old HMX-7 mining bots. Those things were decommissioned centuries ago." Eliza frowned. "Decommissioned? Or abandoned?" "Abandoned," Miles admitted, sheepishly. "They had a lot of bugs. Communication failures. Rogue behavior. Back then, humanity didn't have the resources to retrieve them, so we just left them out there." "Let me get this straight," said Lieutenant Oren, the tactical officer, her voice tinged with disbelief. "You're saying that these legendary terrors, these monsters that supposedly enslaved entire planets, are just broken mining bots?" Miles nodded. "Pretty much." Eliza sighed, pinching the bridge of her nose. "And now the whole galaxy thinks we're evil masterminds." The ship's AI chimed in. "Captain, I have located an active HMX-7 beacon on a planet near the Council's border. It matches the signature described in their records." "Perfect," Eliza said, her tone dry. "Let's go clean up humanity's ancient trash before it gets us kicked out of the galaxy." The Resolute altered course, heading toward the barren planet designated TX-211. The closer they got, the more erratic the signals became. By the time they entered orbit, the ship's sensors lit up like a fireworks display. The planet's surface was scarred with deep trenches and sprawling craters. Towering over the desolate landscape were dozens of HMX-7 units, each standing nearly 50 meters tall. Their massive arms ended in plasma drills and cutting lasers, and their movements were deliberate, mechanical, and eerie. The crew watched in silence as one of the machines ripped into a mountainside, carving out raw ore and depositing it into an automated refinery. "They're still operational," Miles said, his voice tinged with awe and dread. "Operational and hostile," Oren added, pointing to the ship's threat analysis. Several of the bots had turned toward the Resolute, their glowing red eyes locking onto the human vessel. "Raise shields," Eliza ordered. "Let's see if we can talk to them." Miles began broadcasting override codes, but the bots ignored the signals. Their programming was too degraded, their systems too corrupted. One of the machines raised its massive arm, aiming a plasma drill at the ship. "Captain, they're charging weapons," Oren shouted. "Hold position," Eliza said, her voice steady. "Miles, any chance you can crack their systems before we're turned into space dust?" "Working on it," Miles said, his fingers flying across his console. The first bot fired, a searing beam of plasma cutting through the void. The Resolute shook under the impact, but its shields held. Oren fired back, targeting the bot's legs with precision strikes, but the machine barely flinched. "These things are tough," Oren said through gritted teeth. "I'm in," Miles shouted. "I've accessed the network. Sending shutdown commands now." One by one, the bots froze in place. Their glowing red eyes dimmed, replaced by a soft blue glow. The planet fell silent. "Status?" Eliza asked. "Their systems are responding," Miles said, grinning. "I've reprogrammed them to standby mode. They're no longer a threat." The crew let out a collective sigh of relief. Eliza turned to the comms officer. "Send a message to the Council. Tell them the Iron Giants have been neutralized." When the Resolute transmitted its findings to the 9 Suns, the Council was stunned. The humans had not only stopped the legendary machines but had done so without resorting to violence. Zonath was the first to speak. "You reprogrammed them? Just like that?" "They're tools," Eliza replied. "They were built to mine, not to destroy. Their behavior was a malfunction, not malice." The Council debated for days, their fear of the Iron Giants clashing with their newfound respect for humanity's ingenuity. Eventually, they voted to allow humanity provisional membership, albeit with strict oversight. The Iron Giants, once the stuff of nightmares, became symbols of redemption. Humanity's willingness to take responsibility for its ancient mistakes earned them a cautious but significant place in the galactic community. As for the HMX-7 units, they were repurposed by the Council, their immense strength and durability put to work rebuilding the worlds they had once devastated. Under the watchful eyes of their human creators, the Iron Giants found a new purpose, proving that even the darkest legends could be rewritten.